While Jannanigans doesn't exactly pick up immediately after the previous episode left off, as people do need to sleep, it does pick up the next morning, with Star realizing that she might actually have a way to get back to Muni without a portal. And that's to ask Jannah how she got there, seemingly without a portal. As Jannah did earlier this season, just suddenly show up on Muni without any real explanation of how she got there. So they go over to Jannah's house and bump into her when she returns home from doing something, only to learn that she doesn't actually remember how she got there. That as far as she remembers, she was having a typical Thursday before suddenly she was on Muni and she doesn't remember anything else. Which already at this point, I thought maybe I knew how she did it, and I am so glad that it turned out to be true, because holy crap is it cool. They decide to retrace Jannah's steps on a typical Thursday, which leads to the titular Jannanigans, which are all very entertaining, but not necessary 100% for me to summarize in order to review this episode, so I'm going to skip a lot of them, let you guys see them for yourselves. I will say, though, that while this earlier part of the episode is going on, we do get a little bit of a follow-up to the previous episode, with Tom actually letting Marco know that now that Tom and Star are broken up, he'd be okay with Marco pursuing a relationship with Star. Which is cool, because it's a follow-up to the previous episode, connecting these two episodes a little more than they were already connected, considering they happen hours apart. It also reminds us of how much Tom has grown as a person over the course of the series. Like, do you remember when he was this selfish guy who manipulated everyone around him to get what he wanted? Because there's no trace of that person left in him. And it's so cool. Like, he's, I think, changed more than any other character in the show. And I love his arc a lot. It's drastic, but it doesn't feel unearned. And for those who say that, well, he did get all those evil spirits sucked out of him that one time, so obviously he wouldn't be as bad a guy anymore, I counter with, he did that by sacrificing himself, figuratively, not literally, for his friends, something which caused him a lot of pain. He had obviously already become a better person by the time he did that. So that was a cool scene. Eventually, though, we do get another scene where retracing Jannah's steps isn't really getting them anywhere, so they start pressuring her again to remember how she got to Muni, leading into a rare emotional Jannah scene where she is very genuine and confesses to her friends that it's actually really bugging her that she doesn't remember this. So they decide to take a break from retracing her steps, and they go and get lunch at her typical Thursday lunch place, Britta's Tacos. This is where she removes her jacket, revealing that the t-shirt she's wearing is actually the Britta's Tacos t-shirt that Marco was supposed to win from the punch card thing. That the stolen t-shirt, she's the one who stole it from the basement storage room of the restaurant. So they go into the basement storage room of the restaurant and find a covered up well, which is the same covered up well that Moon and Star swam up through when they were running around without their memories in the magic. That means that Jannah got to Muni through the magic dimension, and that's why she doesn't remember making the trip. Which is just excellent, because it not only follows up that really cool scene where we saw all of those geysers of magic water going up into different dimensions, that really cool mysterious scene. It not only gives us payoff for that, but it also confirms that Earth is connected to the magic dimension, and it turns what I thought were two offhanded jokes, Jannah showing up out of nowhere and someone stealing the shirt that Marco worked so hard to win, into actual foreshadowing and world building. It's so fantastic in how well it recontextualizes stuff that was already cool into something that is also just as cool and also makes those things cooler. Like, I cannot overstate how satisfying that final scene of this episode is. This is another example of an episode that I thought was really good, better than the previous one, even though I am comparing them directly when I say this. This is another episode that I thought was really good that was made so much better by just a phenomenal last scene. The difference here is that this final scene was better than the final scene in Sad Teen Hotline, and that the build-up to it was mostly funny Jannah stuff, which you guys know how much I love funny Jannah stuff when it's done well, at least. I mean, I don't really have much more to say about the episode. I could gush about it some more, but you don't really need to hear that. Obviously, I love this episode a lot. I don't know if it's like one of the best of the season or anything, but man, I really enjoyed it so much. And I guess it would be appropriate to say that as of the beginning of this episode, or the very last scene of the last one, I guess technically, we are in the finale at this point. We go from this episode directly into this group and trying to find their way back into Muni, which leads directly into the big conflict that's going to round out this show. Man, am I glad that those kids decided to get a good night's sleep before figuring the rest of this out, because they're going to need it. That said, as per usual, I'd like to know, what do you think of Jannanigans if you have seen it? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over in my Discord, link in the description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.